Appositives, despite the funny sounding name, are relatively easy to identify and work through. What is an appositive? An appositive is two nouns that essentially mean the same thing. My sister, Linda. Linda and my sister are the same thing. The fast red race car, the Ferrari and the fast red race car are identifying the same thing. The actor, Will Smith is the actor. They're one and the same thing. Usually these will appear as subject nouns, but they could be object or other nouns as well. The second part is the appositive. So my sister, Linda. Linda is the second part here. This is the appositive. And the question is, will it be separated by commas or not? And we have to look to the restrictive, non-restrictive comma rules to decide that. So Linda is identifying who this is, which means it's restrictive. I'm identifying Linda by name. Therefore, I need that, and restrictive words or clauses are not separated by commas. I would not use commas in this case. On the other hand, if I said it the other way around, Linda, my sister, and this is assuming I have more than one sister, and I do, there's Lori and other sisters, then my sister is just extra information. I've already identified Linda, and therefore my sister, the second part, the appositive, is non-restrictive, which says it must be separated by commas. Now note, I'm going to have commas on both sides of the appositive, the second part, or no commas on both sides. You will never have commas on one side or the other. So the answers that have commas on one side are wrong. So how do I identify these? Well, I simply do a vertical scan anytime I see a profession, then a name, or perhaps some description and then the actual name or more identifying information. I know I'm looking at an appositive. Biologist, that's a profession. Yuri Lee, that's a name. And I know it's profession, then name. So a quick rule of thumb, without thinking about the too complicated restrictive, non-restrictive comma rules, is if it's profession, then name, there's no commas. But if it's name, then profession, then there are commas. So the famous writer, William Shakespeare, there are no commas around William Shakespeare, the appositive, the second part there. But if I said William Shakespeare, the famous writer, penned Macbeth, the famous writer, that second part, the appositive, would be separated by commas. So in this case, I identify this really quickly. Biologist Yuri Lee, that's a profession right there. That's a name right there. That follows. I want the no comma case. This is going to be the answer. In this case, I identify it the same way. Researchers, and they were saying their names. This is going to be an appositive. Profession, then name. I want the no comma case. Even in this case, I have the profession, and it looks like it might be an issue of semicolons or colons or all that, but I notice the next word is a name. So this is a profession, then name. I want the no comma case. And by the way, it doesn't always have to be a name and a profession. It's a novel, basically what you're describing, and the title of the novel. So novel would be the analogy to profession. The title of the novel would be essentially its name, which would not be separated by commas because it's essential identifying information. And again, it could be things like the molecule carbon dioxide. The molecule and carbon dioxide are one and the same. I'm naming the molecule in the second part, so I do not need to use commas in that case. But if I did switch it around, I would use commas around the molecule on both sides, always. And that is essentially what we're looking for in appositives.